One person you probably haven't heard a lot from and understood who he is Tim Schmalbeck. He's going to be working on the sales side, supporting all of you in the field. He's been working with you, and he wants to share a message of a lesson, a life lesson that he has learned that could actually add massive value to what we're doing in our sharing of our message. So let's bring up Tim Schmalbeck to share.
Hey, Tim.
There you go, Tim.
This is, you gotta be careful what you tell Jason rather, and Blake. Goodbye, Jake. He'll come back around. So I want to talk about the power of a sincere invitation. Because I believe that our success, your success, will not be determined by the company, the message, or the products. I believe that your success will come down to your becoming great, expert inviters. And I'll tell you a story about an invitation that was probably the most pivotal moment or decision in my life. It changed the entire direction of my life. And when I was 7, my father went to jail, and my single minority mother was not able to make enough money to take care of the 5 kids. So she had 3 jobs. We never saw her, but we still just couldn't make it work. So the county took all the kids and put us all in foster care. So we moved around a lot, changed homes a lot. I had a lot of people in positions to try and give me direction. And when I was 15, I met this boy, and he was really cool. He was different, and I liked how he was. I liked how he lived, and so I hung out with him. I was just drawn to him, and we ran around that summer, and I followed him to church, and the church put on a kind of a community play, and I didn't have any experience singing, dancing, or acting, but I was willing and eager, and a little bit crazy. And my brother had an earring, and I used to steal it sometimes, or whenever we were going to go out, I'd just push it through my ear, and just wear it for the evening, and then go home and pull it out. So it was The King and I, and they were kind of basing it off the Yul Brynner movie. So he had an earring, and he had a shaved head, and he was brown, so I noticed I was brown, so I went and shaved my head real quick. And for the audition, I walked in, and I was like, hey, we got an earring. So I borrowed an earring, and as I was walking on the stage, the director just watched me push it through my ear. And anyway, so I was cast as the king, and it was a really cool experience. Really had a lot of fun. Got to know the director, became friends, and when it was over, she knew a little bit about my story, my background, the position I was in. And I was going to move and be relocated. And she said, I didn't want you to get lost in that system, because she knew if I did, I'd never see them again. So she actually went to her husband. They had raised 8 children, and they were in their 60s. They were done. And she went to him and said, I think we ought to give this kid a shot. So they registered with the county and the state and became foster parents. Took me in, and after a rough couple weeks, they had a real good idea of who and what they had brought into their home, and they kind of knew the challenges I faced. And his name's Hank. His name's actually Henry Dixon Taylor, but Hank set me down, and I was like, oh great, we're gonna have a talk, and I'm gonna have a new home. Kind of how everything generally was. But he instead of, you guys are going to relate to this, instead of just throwing up on me like, hey kid, dude, do you know what kind of position you're in? Do you know where you're headed? Do you know what your life choices are doing to you? Instead of kind of wowing me with his credentials, like, hey, I'm a Hewlett Packard executive. I've successfully raised 8 kids, and I've got a system. And if you do exactly what I say, you'll benefit from this. And you really need this. You're going to love it. The way I live is so much better. And he didn't do any of that. He didn't tell me what everyone said. You'll be lucky if you're not a drug dealer. You're probably not going to graduate from high school. You'll certainly never go to college. You're going to be broke. None of the normal stuff. He did not try to intimidate me. He didn't try to impress me with who he was. This man who I couldn't imagine would ever show me respect. He sat down directly across from me and he spoke to me human to human. He didn't speak down to me. He spoke to me. And he extended an invitation to change my life. He said, first of all, he gave me respect, which no one did. He said, you operate in a world I can't even understand or relate to. You survive well in a world I could not survive in. And I said, yeah, I think that's accurate. And he said, you know what that's like, and you're good at it. You obviously have some talent. He said, I want you to try and live like I live. He said, I want you to commit to 1 year. You try this, and you see what this is like. And because he was a man who walked the walk, I was ready to listen to what he had to say. He obviously, without having to impress it upon me, he obviously had some things going on. So I was ready to listen to him. He said, you come try this. You live like I live. And you give it 1 year, and after that, this is kind of what sealed the deal for me. He said, you then decide how you want to live your life, and I will respect your decision. And I accepted his invitation. And it was not just to live like he lived. I joined his family. He brought me into his family. And it was a rough year, but he helped me. And he said, you try this for a year and I will help you. So I knew I had some help. And it was a rough year, but I chose to live that way. And I have never looked back. And I have, to this day, I'm trying to live like him. And I'm trying to make him proud. And if we are going to succeed at 7K, we cannot recruit with fear or guilt. We can't, throw up on people about how much better this is and what they're doing. If we're going to succeed, we have to cultivate and teach our new people to cultivate a natural, authentic invitation. And as we do, and they join this family, we bring them into the 7K family, and they live this way, and they absorb the culture, if they'll commit to it, it will change their lives. And for who is this trip a first? And there's some firsts. The first time you're doing something you haven't done before. When I joined that family, there were so many firsts for me. I'd never been on a family vacation. I'd never been on an airplane. Christmas in foster care, it doesn't really feel like Christmas. It's missing something. And so, the first time I celebrated Christmas in their home, I remember thinking, this is Christmas for real. Sometimes, so just get used to it. But when we bring it doesn't help that I'm physically exhausted. It doesn't help. When we bring people into this family, the first time you hold real money in your hand, that's different. It's got different electricity. That's a first. There's so many who, first time, they have a reliable source of income over which they have control. That's Christmas for real. There are so many people who need what this family has to offer. They will not respond to fear tactics. They're not going to be intimidated. They're not going to be berated and talked down to. They will respond. To an invitation. And as you cultivate, that invitation, as you learn to be authentic, you learn to be real, and you learn how to extend this invitation as your best self, it will be irresistible to the right people.
That's right.
And to the wrong people, we don't need them in our family anyway.
That's right.
You know? So learn to use that. Let's go change some lives. Because our family's not done yet. We need some help.